From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big day here on Noontime on LALATE with incredible and great details about your forced stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over your monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. This is the single biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. A fortune of checks. I'll go over them in the second half of this video. Then we cut to the recon. And as I told you 2 weeks ago, I told you these final days, things are going to change by the hour. This broadcast is totally different than the morning's broadcast you saw right before it. What's going on? A major twist about what's going on in the Senate with the bipartisan voting just minutes ago. You're hearing for the first time on Noontime, it's breaking developing details. Then we got to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up lifetime. It starts in September. We're just a few days away from that as well. Very exciting details. And then we cut to one viewer who got over $50,000 from this channel by listening to the recordings and understanding the big money that's available for you for rent, utilities, food, and internet. I'm going to show you how to get this big money as well. And it's a big noontime. It's breaking news at noontime, and it starts right now. Good noontime, everybody. How are you doing? Hope your Sunday noontime is going well. You know, I told you a few weeks ago, when you get close to the finish line, the news cycle doesn't change by the day. It changes by the hour. This broadcast is all breaking news. You did not hear on mornings at LA. It's going to be different than the afternoons at LA. It's a lot happening just minutes ago. And with that, thank you for joining me. How's the weather? How's the weather this Sunday? It's gorgeous. It's paradise here in Santa Monica. Onshore breeze, cool. In the 50s at night, actually sort of chilly. During the daytime, not too hot in the 70s. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this forced stimulus check update of 2021, we'll go over those monthly stimulus checks and why you're likely to get more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. Biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel. You'll be getting tens of thousands of dollars in this incredible forced stimulus package. Then we cut to the voting. This is where the breaking news is. As a major twist unravels in the Senate minutes ago, I'll explain to you what that major twist is and what it does for our calendars. And then we cut to the fifth stimulus, which is just days away. As we head into September, this raises your benefits up a lifetime, and the legislation for this just starts in a matter of a few days. And then the incredible surprises across the board. I've seen them all, but I've never seen anything like this. $50,000 obtained by one viewer of this channel, Mark. Incredible sum of money. I'm going to go over all that big money for you as well and how you can get it. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, like right now, and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Afternoons LALATE, a throwback from earlier this week. This video will automatically take you there when this video is over within 6 seconds. Then a new LALATE Afternoons at 3, and then a new Evenings LALATE, and a new Overnights Crypto at 3:30. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes. And thank you for all the new Purple Hawks. Become a Purple Hawk. Over 200 new Purple Hawks are joining daily. Hit that membership link under the video. And let's get to that breaking news. First, let's get to the monthly stimulus checks. House versus Senate. Senate versus House. Different as to the number of checks and different as to the payout. House, monthly pandemic plus 1 year. Senate, July to December. House, $1,000 a month after the first month of 2000. Senate, monthly unknown, but word on the street is the Senate would pay you this deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Well, the number of infected people is growing quickly in the United States right now, and that signals that the House bill would pay pandemic plus 1 year. Pandemic is ravaging out of control again with Delta, Delta Plus, and Lambda just on the horizon. So House bill pandemic plus 1 year would pay you more than just 1 year of checks, which would be more than 12 checks. From that House, that would mount more than $13,000. So compare that amount of more than $13,000 to this, And the Senate? I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate, House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from this Sunday afternoon at noontime. This beautiful Sunday afternoon. Tell me how the weather is where you are. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that if you got third, you're getting a fourth. Single individual, 75,000 or less. Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less. Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four. Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. The fourth stimulus check is not income. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone including the adult dependents. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. Oh, I learned my lesson well 3 weeks ago. I was recording live on the beach. Maybe I'll do it again today. And I was there recording live, and the viewer said, "Hey, LALATE, is that check behind you?" I said, "Where? Where? Oh, it is." Yeah, the viewer said, "Wave to the check." I said, "Really? Come on now. It's not a waivable check. Just try it. Wave to the check." All right. "Hey, check, how are you? It's LALATE. You recognize me? I don't have the purple shirt on. How are you?" Didn't wave back. What a rude check. The viewer said, "No, LA, it's not a rude check. It's just not a waivable check. I watch your videos." Yeah. So the fourth stimulus heats up. Deal done. Recon deal done as to price tag. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. This is the single biggest payouts we ever had in the history of this channel, viewers. $3.5 trillion of checks. I'll go over that in the second half of this video. Then we cut to the breaking news happening minutes ago. The breaking news is that the roads and bridges voting is not going the same way as they represented it would on Friday, on Saturday, and even this morning, Sunday. It's going a different way. What? I'll have all the breaking news that's coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. It's very fascinating and very confusing. It's coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the very end. But first, also, fifth stimulus was raise your benefits up lifetime. Fifth stimulus is just a few days away. September's just around the corner. All the latest details about that as well. But first, let's get some money. Get a pen and paper ready. I'm going to get you some rent, some utilities, some mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities assistance. You know, when I first started recording these videos, I said for rent, I could get you 4 to 6 months of rent. About, $5,000 approximately. Well, I wasn't able to get viewers $5,000. Not $5,000. I was able to get them $27,000, with Elizabeth getting $27,000 as a Purple Hawk, and Mark $25,000, Nancy $24,000 for rent, Richard $22,000 for rent, and $20,000 for Nisi for rent. The numbers are astronomical for Purple Hawks all across the board. Subscribers. Cecilia got money for HEAP, and Jennifer got $5,000 for rent and other items. Randy got $6,000 for rent and other items. Tiffany, $13,000 for rent and other items. Carla got some utilities, and Pamela, $12,000 for rent. Incredible. Then when I talked about utilities, I said I can get you $300 for utilities. Until this came in, bam, $7,000 obtained for utilities by Nancy because she was watching my videos. Videos from this channel. Becoming a member as a Purple Hawk has changed these viewers' bank accounts. $7,000 for Nancy, $6,500 for Mark for utilities, Angela $5,000 for utilities. For Snap, I said I can get you $4,000 to $6,000 for Snap. And then this happened, bam, $18,000 obtained by Louie for Snap. It's $10,000 for John and Nancy for $5,000. And as to viewers who got more than 2 items, can I hear the drum roll, please? Here you go. Oh my goodness. Nancy got $32,000 from 3 items by watching these videos and being a member. Mark, $32,000 from 2 items, and Nisi, $23,000 for 3 items. But then a surprise. What happened? Well, over last week, during the recordings, I said, as to Mark, I said, you got 2 items, and you only, quote, only, being facetious, only got $32,000, Mark. I said, go out and get some Snap. Maybe you can bring it to $40,000. And then magic happened. Mark watched my videos, even though I was being facetious, learned from the videos, as all the other Purple Hawks did. He pounced, and what did he do? He didn't get $9,000 for Snap. He got $19,000 for Snap, bringing his grand total to $50,000 as a viewer of this channel. And there you go. Bam. Incredible. And this is LALATE. This is what we do on this channel. In spring of last year, people's EIDL loans and EIDL grants were not being approved. I stepped in and I got $25 million of EIDL loans approved. Some days I was doing 10 applications approved at $150,000 a pop. Incredible change of events because of my videos and my assistance to viewers. Then, in fall, second stimulus was not coming. Nothing we could do, but we could get other sums of money. I got viewers $250,000 of rent. Tyrone got $15,000, paid all his rent from December to January. And now we're doing the same thing again. The only difference is you've learned before how you can get these big sums of money, and you're doing it better than ever before. So get in pen and paper ready, because if you've never gotten money and you just found this channel, today is your day to start getting some money. And if you got one sum of money before from this channel, today to get the other two. You're going to reach out to different places with different eligibility. Each place has their own eligibility, number one. Number two, they all have their own pots of money. Number three, listen to the keywords, because those keywords really help you get approved. Are you ready? Here you go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. And there you go. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or a Mitch's popularity fan club. Doesn't exist. And congratulations to everyone who got money for rent and utilities, like Tim and Linda as well. If you got rent and utilities, post it in the live chat right now. Let's turn to some SNAP. SNAP is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A lot. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it, and Mark got $19,000 for it. Louis 18, and John 10 to 12,000. How much does it pay? A family of four in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year now. Wow, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. And if you got SNAP, post in the live chat right now. And we're killing it. You're killing it. We're only 12 minutes into this video, and we got more money now coming back from your states, unemployment, and computer error. Let's go over the details. Where's it going to land? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yeah, contact your state. Say, hi, state. Where's that check due to computer error and overpayment of unemployment benefits? And can you track it with a computer that's actually plugged in this time? It sort of helps. And then finally, the last refund check that's coming back is delicious. This is the refund check coming back from IRS. Margaret got it, Cog got it, Michael got it. It's incredible. How much? Where's it landing? It's landing by direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. And guess what, Mitch? It's a waivable check. He hates to hear that. But this is a waivable check. There's a new waive of the check every week. The current waive, the average payout is $1,265. Deliciousness. Direct deposit start July 14th. Paper checks July 16th. More about that in a second. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. But first, here's a personal message. If you're in the live chat and you have gotten rent, utilities, food, or internet, or mortgage assistance, post your success stories right now. Why? When you do it, magic happens. The spirit of this channel is me helping others. It's also you helping others. And when you post your success stories, whether you got $1 or $100, you help other viewers three different ways. Number one, you inspire them to go get some of the sums of money. Because then they realize, wait a second, SNAP, I never knew about SNAP. Okay, I'll go get it. Or utilities, I got utility bills, let me get some help for my utility bills. Or rent bills, oh, wow, I should get that rent as well. Then you inspire them to get multiple sums of money. Art Sullivan had 3 items. Nisi had 3 items. They inspired Nancy, who got 3 items. Then Mark had 2 items. I made recordings last week. I said, Mark, go get the 3rd item. He got it. He added $19,000 to $32,000, bringing his grand total to over $50,000. So inspire people by posting your success stories in the live chat right now. Okay, so that unemployment benefits, where, when, and how. Let's say you have $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations. You're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search, and 70% of the time it'll work. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. It also reveals stuff you never knew, stuff you never wanted to know. And 70% of the time, it'll reveal stuff that you wish you never heard of. Like when Ron Portman was on The View, did he co-host opposite Ron Wyden, or did Ron Wyden sort of not fit in the set because he's sort of tall? Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your 4th stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. Done deal. The $3.5 trillion recon is a done deal. All they have to do is call for a vote. Why? Because the Democratic senators met twice in the last week to agree upon the price tag, $3.5 trillion, and agree to do it. So all they have to do is call the vote for it. Now, how did we get to this wonderful spot? This recon is all checks for you, checks of all sorts. So when we're talking about third stimulus, and you see these viewers getting $20, $30, $50,000 from third stimulus, this is fourth stimulus. It's humongous. It's a gazillion percent bigger than third stimulus. So imagine the big sums of money you're going to get under this incredible $3.5 trillion. We achieved this by taking roads and bridges out of the recon. Originally, roads and bridges were in the recon, making it not passable by July 4th. They're out, and they're into something called bipartisan. The confirmation comes from conservative publication days ago. It says the following. The higher the price tag was on the recon beforehand, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan made the recon passable. But the recon also made the bipartisan passable, and they're both passing. Now, once the Democrats shrunk the recon, they were able to build it back up a little bit more to a big price tag so they could include all the checks they want to include for you. $3.5 trillion is that price tag. Representative Richie Torres, for example, he wants money for rent in there, so he took care of that, saying, we want a larger recon bill. You got it, Richie. $3.5 trillion, congratulations. And Elon Omar initially said, we need a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon, $3.5 trillion. In fact, the White House was visited daily by the Progressive Caucus to ensure that the recon went big and bold enough. They got it, $3.5 trillion. So, what you need to know is that once they got to that spot, what was the next step? Protecting the recon. How did they protect the recon? They protected the recon by basically ensuring that everything in the recon gets passed. The president had told Jalapal and Schatz that the progressive priorities in the recon are all White House priorities. Wow, incredible, great news. In the last 7 days, you've really seen the White House align itself with the progressives more than ever before. Two examples, which I'm going to bring up later again in this video. Number one, we started the week with no eviction moratorium. We also started the week with no student loan debt repayment freeze. We're ending the week with both reversed because of successes of pushing by the progressives. First, the eviction moratorium. We started the week with an ending, with the president saying, I'm not doing it because of the courts. Well, Democrat, progressive, St. Louis, 1st District of Missouri, Representative Bush sat on Capitol Hill, had a vigil every night and said, push, push, push. No, you got to keep the eviction moratorium in place, Mr. President. Ignore the courts. And she got it done. Ending the week with the president completely doing a 180 on the position. Number two, we have incredible news about the student loan debt moratorium being put back in place. Warren, Sanders, Schumer have been pushing for this for months, and it finally came to fruition. That's why you have to always push purple power. And how do we get to this wonderful spot? Well, we got to this wonderful spot by really keeping the recon and the bipartisan separated. And let me go over the two terminologies, recon versus bipartisan, so you keep them separated. Because guess what? In a given day, broadcast media, 90% of the time, butchers the story, using the wrong term for the wrong item or using the wrong price tag for the wrong item. So there are two paths which I cover on this channel, recon, your money, and bipartisan, not your money. Let's go over the other words so you hear them and you know what they are when you hear broadcast media butcher the story. Recon is also called reconciliation. You'll recognize it by its price tag, which is $3.5 trillion. People quoting an article about it are like AOC or Nancy. All right, bipartisan, also called roads and bridges, also called the budget, also called the infrastructure. You'll recognize it by its price tag, $1.5 trillion, and you'll recognize it by the people quoting an article about it, like a Kristen Sinema, Ron Portman, or Mitt Romney. Okay, so who votes in favor of a recon? A recon is voted in favor of it by Republicans for Republicans. Yeah, sorry to jinx you there. A recon is voted in favor by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. When the recon gets called for a vote, there'll be 0 Republicans in favor of it. That's fine because we have all the Democrats we need, 50 of 50, and the vice president doing the tiebreaker vote. So who actually writes the recon? The recon is written in subcommittees of the House of Representatives. Those subcommittees are delegated subject matters under the Constitution. For example, House Ways and Means is responsible for stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. When each of those subcommittees are done, let's say it's 10 of them, and they got 10 pages, they send those 100 pages up to Chuck. He puts a big S on it for Schumer, no. Schumerish, no. Seductive, salty, so what? Laverne Shirley, no, it is for Senate bill. And when we see that bill, then we see it. At the moment, we don't have the recon bill. And until we have the recon bill, no time or place to say it's not in there because we actually don't have the bill. But when we do, it will not be law. We know that a lot, and that's coming up later in this video. When the recon actually debuts, that's not at all what it's going to look like when it becomes law. So let's go over all the details of that later in this video. Until that time, the subcommittees of the House don't have to show you what they're doing, writing, or taking in or taking out. No requirement across the board. How did we get to this wonderful spot? From Jolapal, who recently wrote Schumer a letter saying, Chuck called the vote on the recon. Well, guess what? The recon vote is going to be called within days. That letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, who are part of the 100-plus House Democrats who recently wrote the president saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Wow. You got to keep them to their promise. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. OMG. That is incredible. Can we top that? Yes. They also say they're giving you a fifth stimulus check. Purple power, you got to push. You got to keep these people their promise. Finally, one last really wonderful news is Biden did it. He went overseas about 7 weeks ago to sign a ceremonial signature. But the real signature was just days ago here in the United States. It's the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum. Why is this great news for us? Because it doesn't belong in the recon. And it makes it easier to pass the recon. Number one, easier to vote on the recon. Number two, easier to call the vote, easier to write it, and easier to pass the recon. Because this confusing thing ain't in there. And can we top that? We can, as we go into the final 15 minutes of this video with the breaking news about what's going on with that bizarre infrastructure vote today. It's getting very peculiar. I'll explain to you why it's so peculiar and what it means for our money and the recon. Then we cut to everything about the recon, its dates, its votes, its procedure, and its substance. It's coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. Also a little bit about fifth stimulus. But first, here, if you're having problems finding rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, or homeowners assistance, reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? Open the description. Find the link to the community page. It'll send you over there to news.la.com/community. On the community page, the volunteers will help you get that big money. Here's a little bit about them, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues at noontime. I'm LALATE, and it's a big noontime with a lot of breaking news. If you're just joining this broadcast, I told you at the top of the hour that new developments have come in from the Senate that were not revealed even on Mornings LALATE. That's how the news cycle is going to be over the next 5 days. Things are going to change by the hour, not by the day. So you're going to hear breaking, developing details in just a few minutes. This is totally brand new. And this is why you have to tune into LALATE on the weekends, because you can't come back on Monday and say, what I missed? You missed a lot. 5,000 things happen on Saturday, 5,000 things happen on Sunday. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and thank you for becoming a Purple Hawk. Please do. Over 200 new Purple Hawks joining daily. The president, meantime, promised when running for the highest land in the office that he was going to give you that SSI and SSDI reform lift as soon as he came into office. He didn't. And then he promised it during the transition papers. He didn't do it then either. So, with just days away from September, this is where we're heading. Fifth stimulus. With the House Democrats and the Senate Democrats taking care of this for you. This is what's called fifth stimulus, and it starts in just a few days. It starts drafting in September, then going to a vote in November, hitting your bank account with November, presumably, and then the lift in December for next January. Let's go over all the details of this. First, they'll raise your benefit limits up. Then they'll remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over who this applies for. Starting with you. It applies to you. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. First step, they'll raise your benefits up. Step two, they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is going to be inflation. When are they going to apply it? December. Where is inflation going? It's transitory, says Jay Powell. What does that mean? It's going to be a temporary spike in December. Oh, how high? Well, it's going to have that spike exactly when they apply your benchmark. Yes, that's perfect timing. So how high is it going to go? I've been reporting about 5% inflation for that temporary spike. I detailed this extensively on yesterday's Afternoon to LA, which is coming up later today. It'll go over really how this spike could be even higher based upon the economic data from Friday and Thursday. And then they're going to, then if the inflation rate, so let's do the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply the benchmark. And the inflation rate is 5%. Your benefits will lift up 5%, not just next year, lifetime. So the inflation rate is 2% the year after that. You'll be plus 2, plus 5%. Then they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and have more than $3,000 on hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. And you'll be able to do a pair dance at your own wedding. You'll be able to get married and no longer fear a loss of benefits under the marriage penalty. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. Now, if you're in the live chat and you haven't become a Purple Hawk, consider becoming a Purple Hawk right today, as 200 are joining daily. Why? Because Purple Hawks have understood now where the big money is. Show me the money. The big money is never a stimulus check. It's these other items. Second stimulus in December of 2020 was a $600 stimulus check. I told the viewers, do not focus on $600. It's going to come in the mail. You'll get it. You'll eventually get it, and you'll spend it, and then you'll say, where's the next check? $600 didn't cut it for me. I said to you, under the second stimulus package, there's tens of thousands of dollars for me to get for you, or for you to get in there for yourself, that are application-based. And they understood. And that's how Tyrone got $15,000. Not focusing on a $600 stimulus check. It was not going to pay his rent for his family of four for 6 months in Boston. He needed a lot more, and he got it, $15,000. Then, when I launched Purple Hawks in January this year, I told the Hawks, you're a hawk. Hawk, hawk. You pounce before anyone else. And do not stay focused on a $1,400 stimulus check when there's 10, 15, 20,000 money right now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, but right now for you to get. Tens of thousands of dollars is a lot more than a $1,400 stimulus check. And they did it. They stayed focused on the big money, rent, utilities, food, SNAP, and more. And there's other items under third stimulus as well. And that's how they've been able to get these massive sums of money. Understanding that the focus should not be on a $1,400 stimulus check, which gets used up in just a blink of an eye, but on these sums of money, $32,000, going out and getting SNAP if you didn't get it because you qualify for it. Why would you be paying money with your own items? Their message and my message to them and their understanding was the following. The federal government will not fix your car in the driveway, and the federal government will not buy you a new pair of tennis shoes, but it will likely help you with your rent, your utilities, your mortgage, your homeowner's utilities, your dental, your benefits, and similar things like that. And you got a pot of bills in the house. Of those 10 bills, the federal government may pay 4 of them, but not the other 2. Why would you not want the federal government to pay those 4 bills if they pass a massive stimulus package like the third that pays your bills? Have the government pay your bills when it's in the stimulus package. And do not sit back and just wait for a check. These are the big sums of money. And here's what they also understand, the Purple Hawks. The third stimulus package was this big. The second stimulus package was this big. And with this big, the viewers got 15,000. With this big, viewers are getting 50,000. Guess what we're doing now? Fourth stimulus package, which is this big, 3.5 trillion. If you've been with me since January of last year, since April of last year, you understand how enormous $3.5 trillion of checks are for you. And something new I'm saying only today is that the previous stimulus packages were consumed almost 80% for stimulus for corporations and businesses. The 3.5 trillion is not for businesses. It's all for you. So there's an enormous sum of money in there. And that's why Bernie Sanders is so ecstatic. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes, starting right now with that recon. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the fourth stimulus recon. The Democrat caucus Senate members have agreed twice to the price and the passage. They haven't voted on the recon, but when they do, they'll pass it. Bernie Sanders called this a historic day for the American people because there's so many checks. He fought a generation to get you these checks. These are checks you should be celebrating to receive because there's enormous sums of money that no one has ever seen in the history of this channel. When we get the recon, we'll see all the incredible provisions. It's all for you, and it's all for the American people, but we have some of them initially right now. Here we go. Free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, farming checks, election checks, internet checks that are going to provide you free internet. Then here comes my money for my workers and my seniors. First, my workers, checks for unions, checks for independent contractors, and then checks for my seniors, checks for seniors, checks for lowering the eligibility age, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care. Wow, incredible, great news. Let's turn over to the bipartisan roads and bridges. So what's the breaking news? Breaking news right now at noontime. If you're in the live show, watching the show right now, let me give you the timestamp. It's currently 12:11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You're watching me live on air. You previously watched me on mornings LALATE live on air. You have an afternoon's LALATE new show coming up at 3 p.m. It has already been taped before this show. So it is not, it was taped before what I'm about to tell you. The evening's LALATE show has not been taped yet. It will have this update plus more tonight. So that's going to be a double whammy of updates. What's the update? And this is going to be very complicated to explain, so I'm going to slow it down. I had problems understanding it. Here's what's going on. The bipartisan legislation was reduced to a bill and introduced to the Senate last Monday. Then they started amendments to the roads and bridges last Monday. They've been doing amendments every single day, voting on those amendments every single day. And going into Friday, they said, we're about done with the amendments. We're going to vote on the bill Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the roads and bridges bill. 9 a.m. Saturday came and went, as you saw me live on air, and they did not get it done because they said, no, we're still working on amendments. So then they said by Saturday, Saturday evening, we think we're going to call the vote on the bill. We think we're done with the amendments. That's what they said, the senators, by Saturday afternoon. That came and went, and that didn't happen. So what was the update I was reporting this morning on Mornings LA? That they were then saying that they had a few amendments left, that they were hoping to finish the amendments today, of which one of them is the crypto amendment, which I just covered on Morning's Crypto. If you watch that show, I explain in detail what it is. And that once they're done with the amendments, they anticipated they were going to call the vote on the roads and bridges bill Sunday afternoon. That was where we were this morning. This now is the major new update. That's not happening. Why? I told you this morning there was a Tennessee senator who is not trying to block the roads and bridges, but trying to slow it down. And so what did he vote on just a few minutes ago? He voted the following, that he would not do a fast track approach. A fast track approach would end with the Roads and Bridges bill vote Sunday, today. He refused to do a fast track on it. So he's not voting against it, he's just not fast tracking it. So as a result, because of this guy, and because they still have not agreed upon at least the crypto amendment, they are continuing voting on amendments today, Sunday, and drumroll. And yeah, this came out of nowhere. It wasn't in any of the statements in the last 3 days. They're doing a 2-day vote-a-rama starting tomorrow. What? Wait a second. They weren't supposed to do a vote-a-rama. They've been doing amendments all week long. And they said they were going to vote on the bill on Saturday. And they're going to call vote on the bill Sunday. And they said they're going to follow. Wait, what? Why are they doing a vote-a-rama? That was my reaction when I read this. And I had to read it 3 times. I'm like staring, I'm like, wait a second. How did this get changed so quickly? The only way I can understand it, as the way it's described, is that this one guy did not want to do it the fast track way. And the vote-a-rama is not supposed to be substantive, because at this point they've been doing amendments all week. There's no more amendments left. So the vote-a-rama, which is 50 hours, which is Monday and Tuesday, apparently still has to happen because of this one guy. So it's slowing the process. It's adding 2 extra days to the process that was not there as of this morning. As of 9 a.m. this morning, this process for the House, for the Senate approval of the Roads and Bridges, which is getting approved, was to be done today. And yesterday, it was supposed to be done yesterday. Now this guy is adding 2 extra days to our calendar. I guess he just likes to work. I guess he just likes the Senate dining room. So that is the major shocking detail. I was speechless when I read it, when I saw that Tuesday date. All right, so now let's bring it back to recon. How does that impact recon? It impacts recon because it's just 2 more days later. We had thought on Saturday that the recon could start amendments on Saturday if the bipartisan was done. It didn't. Then when we thought the bipartisan was done on Sunday, we thought the recon would start tomorrow, Monday. Now the recon absolutely cannot start on Monday. Now the recon, the earliest date at the moment, looks like Wednesday, because they need 2 days for the vote-a-rama of the Roads and Bridges. All right, so let's cut back then to first in time. Is first in time an issue? No, it's not. So the only place where first in time is an issue is the House of Representatives and the President. Leader Schumer did say that he was originally going to do the recon first and then the bipartisan, and he did change, but that makes no impact on us because it's Nancy who is the gatekeeper. Let me go over the president's comments and then go over Nancy, and then go over Jalapal. First, the president has made very clear that he will not sign the Roads and Bridges by itself. You have to put on his table in the White House both the Roads and Bridges and the recon. Otherwise, he won't just sign the recon by itself, the bipartisan by itself. This is the president's quote. The bipartisan bill, if only that comes to me, and that's the only thing that's coming to me, I'm not signing it. They have to come to me in tandem, Roads and Bridges and the recon. Then again, he says in another paragraph, I'm not just signing the bipartisan and forgetting about the rest. I propose the recon. I propose another piece of legislation, and that's the recon. All right, so that's the president. So he's not signing the Roads and Bridges unless it lands in the White House with the recon. Then Nancy's quote that she gave over a week ago chose words deliberately written by Nancy that were very aggressive because she knew the quote was going to go viral. And the quote is literally everywhere. I mean, even remember how I told you the story just changed since morning's show today at noontime? The new news articles that were released in like the last half hour, again, quote Nancy's quote, because it's such a vigorous quote. What is Nancy's position is? Nancy's position is the following. She's in the House of Representatives, Chuck's in the Senate. Her position is the following. Do not send me the Roads and Bridges by itself, or it's going in the wastebasket. You must send me the roads and bridges and the recon together in the House. Otherwise, I'm throwing the roads and bridges in the wastebasket. Now, here is what wastebasket means. It means it's never going to be called for a vote in the House of Representatives. But here's my insight on the situation. She has an easier door to deal with. She'll just never put the House back into session. The House is not in session yet. And so if you just send her roads and bridges, she's not going to call the House back into session, and the roads and bridges will die. Remember, we're currently in a Senate session from the spring, and the House can be brought back into session to continue that spring session. But if it doesn't, the spring session's over and we're into the winter session, and the roads and bridges will die. So that's how Nancy has our back for it. She can literally not bring the House back into session unless you bring her both the roads and bridges and the recon. Here's the quote. As I said, this is Nancy. As I said, there won't be a bipartisan unless we have a recon. Plain and simple. In fact, I use the word ain't. There ain't going to be a bipartisan unless we have the recon passed by the U.S. Senate as well. And guess what? The House of Representative members all have her back. Jalapal says, we did a poll of our Democratic House members and the overwhelming members of the caucuses. They're not going to vote for the bipartisan without the recon as well. All right, very easy breezy. Now, let's turn over to timeline. Now that we see a slightly different timeline than we saw on, 3 hours ago, 2 hours ago on Mornings LA, it was supposed to be done, the roads and bridges are supposed to be done this morning. Now we're hearing it's being done on Tuesday. So now we have 2 days added to our calendar. So when would the recon start in the Senate? Wednesday is the earliest at the moment because the roads and bridges has to continue today, and then they have a 51 or 52 hour votorama in the Senate for the roads and bridges, which brings us to the end of Tuesday. That means that Wednesday would start the recon. How quickly could the recon be done in the Senate? Could be done within 2 days, votorama, but you're seeing the strange dynamics of even these people. They can't even keep their timeline straight because there's strange dynamics at issue. Can we advance the bill? Can we speed up the voting? Can we slow down the voting? A lot of very fascinating dramatics. Now, let's go over where things are. The Senate is in session, and the Senate will not recess. So Schumer is keeping them in session until the roads and bridges and the recon are done both. It's one of the longest Senate sessions in almost 10 years. They've been working 7 days a week, 3 weeks in a row, and he's not letting up and he's not letting them go home. He is head of the Senate. He determines the scheduling and all that. So they have no authority to go home whatsoever. And that's the Senate. Now let's go over to the House. As I explained before, the House is on recess. But if the roads and bridges and the bipartisan gets done, let's say by Thursday, then Nancy will automatically have Steny Hoyer give an order to the House members, you're back in session, be there within 24 hours. They'll get in the House floor and immediately start voting. Let's go over the amendments. The votorama on the Senate side for the recon will start the amendments, and then the House will have amendments. Now let's turn to the actual bill, the recon bill. And this is probably one of the most important messages of this video. When you see that recon bill, it's not law yet. We have an emoji for this. It's not law yet. In fact, the recon bill may look very different than the final law. Why? Because Democrats have actually vowed to modify the recon that was written by Democrats. Why? Because the recon was written by subcommittee members of the House. That's just a few people. And the 50 Democratic members in the Senate and the 100+ House Democrats have said, I haven't had the ability to edit anything, change numbers, grow numbers, shrink numbers, because I haven't been in the subcommittee. And when I get it, I'm going to modify it. So that's great news for us. Because when you see the recon, if it's not right, you need to do what Representative Bush did for eviction moratorium. You need to do what Warren and Sanders and everyone else did for the student loan freeze this week. They didn't see the statement of the president as law. When the president said on Monday, tough luck, I'm ending the eviction moratorium, they didn't just say, okay, done, thank you, have a good day, told you so, He was never going to take care of the tenants. Told you so. No, they pushed back, and the true spirit of the purple power, which is what you need to do when you see that recon, if there's something's wrong, they pushed back and got him to do a 180 and put the eviction moratorium back in place and revert his position about the courts. Then for the student loan freeze, they had him do another 180 and put the student loan debt repayment on freeze mode till next year. Incredible achievements. And that is important to understand because these amendments will take a little bit of time. You see, we've gone through almost over a week of amendments on the roads and bridges. So we will have a little bit of time for amendments on your recon. First crack at the amendments are the senators. Then, if they don't amend it the way you want it to amend it, then there's the House members. They can amend it. Remember, the House members are far more progressive than the Senate members. And with that, that's a lot to cover in one video. I expect more developing details by Evening to LA, which is going to be taped in just a few hours from now. Oh, my goodness. If you did not see the crypto show, stay here and watch Overnight's Crypto coming up in a few hours. It will go over why this crypto amendment in the roads and bridges is causing such a big battleground. It's really quite fascinating. And it is one of the amendments that is still not resolved as of Sunday, with 2 competing amendments among Democrats. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay on this video. Oh, pause the music. Stay on this video. This video will automatically take you to the next Afternoons LA starting at 1 p.m. So just stay back, and it will automatically, within 6 seconds after this video ends, take you to that 1 o'clock Afternoons LA, which is about to start in about half an hour. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful afternoon, and I'll see you then on the 1 o'clock Afternoons LA show, the 3 o'clock Afternoons LA show, and the new Evenings LA show tonight at 5. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.